Here are 22 atmosphere vocabularies. The first one is atmosphere. Atmosphere is the thin layer of gas that envelop our planet. It also can provide oxygen, absorb UV and solar radiation. The first layer of atmosphere is the troposphere. It is bottommost layer, and it blankets the Earth's surface and provides us the air that we breathe. Also, troposphere control the weather of our planet. The second layer is stratosphere. It can extend from 11 km to 50 km above the sea level. It is very similar to troposphere, but stratosphere is 1,000 times drier and less dense. Ozone layer is a region where most of the atmospheric ozone concentrates above the sea level. From the picture, you can see the ozone layer absorbs some UV and reflect other heat, so it can reduce the amount of UV radiation reach the ground of the Earth. And ozone in the stratosphere is helpful, but ozone in the troposphere is hurtful. Mesosphere is the third layer of atmosphere, and it can stand from 50 km to 80 km above the sea level. The temperature decreases with the altitude. In mesosphere, mesosphere is where the material occurs. The last layer is the thermosphere. It is the top layer of atmosphere. It can extend to 500 km above the sea level. From the picture, you know that thermosphere is where the spaceship work. Atmospheric pressure is the form per unit of area produced by a column of air. This picture can give you a great visual sense of this vocabulary. And the standard atmospheric pressure is 1 atm. Relative humidity is a ratio of water vapor air contains to it could contains at a given temperature. The higher the relative humidity, the hotter you will feel than actual temperature. Convection circulation is a vertical current where the warm air rises up and cold air condenses. Warm air releases heat as it rises. Cold air receives heat from the ground as it condenses. Weather is the specific atmospheric condition over a short time and in a smaller region. Weather is formed in troposphere. Climate is a pattern of atmospheric condition across large geographic region over a long period of time. Climate is a statistic of weather, usually over a 30 years interval. Weather front is a boundary where warm air replaces the cold air. Warm front usually move from southwest to northeast, and the air behind the warm front is warmer and moister than the air ahead of it. When a warmer front passes, the air becomes noticeably warmer and more humid than it was before. Cold front is a boundary where cold air replaces the warm air. Cold weather front usually move from northwest to southeast. The air behind the cold front is colder and drier than the air in front. When a cold front passes through, the temperature can drop more than 50 degrees within an hour. High-pressure system contains air that descends and spreads outward as it nears the ground. Because as the air sinks, It warms and is able to hold more water vapor. Thus, in these systems, clouds tend to evaporate and the air stabilizes. Storms have a hard time forming in stable air. Low-pressure system is warm air rises and draw air inward towards the center, just like the picture shows. As it rises and cools, water vapor condenses to form clouds and perhaps precipitation. Temperature inversion is the layer of cool air occurs beneath the warm air, which is this part. In normal condition, it's warmer. The air is warmer near the ground and colder away from the ground. However, in the inverse, there will be a layer of cold air occur beneath the warm air. And an inversion acts as a cap on the upward movement of air from the layer below. As a result, convection provided by the heating of air from below is limited to levels below the inversion. Infusion of dust, smoke, and other air pollutants is likewise limited. Inversion layer is a band of air where temperature rises with altitude. In this picture, the warmer air is the inversion layer. Inversion layers are significant to meteorology because they block atmospheric flow, which causes the air over an area experience an inversion to become stable. There are three convective cells. The first one is Hadley cells. Hadley cells is the convective cells near the equator. They are responsible for the trade wind in the tropics and control low-latitude weather patterns. Ferrocells is the convective cells from 30 degrees to 60 degrees. The ferrocell moves in the opposite direction to the other two cells. In the picture, you can see both Hadley cells and the polar cells move in a counterclockwise direction. However, the ferrocells move in the opposite direction, and this cell in the surface. In this cell, the surface wind will flow from a southerly direction in the northern hemisphere. Polar cell is a convective cell at upper 60 degrees. The conditions at polars are very dry. Coriolis effect is the deflection of air currents of convective cells because of the Earth's rotation. Polar has the strongest effect, while the equator has zero Coriolis effect called delta. And this difference is because the equator moves longer and faster than polar when the Earth rotates. The last word is tornadoes. It is formed when warm air meets the cold air, and the warm air have a faster speed rising up than the cold air, which form a strong convective circulation. It's about 1,200 tornadoes hit the U.S. yearly, and tornado can create a mass disaster and destroy.